Okay, so today is my second day in Hot Springs. Um, I checked out of the tavern room, which was really kind of them to give me that room. They're not open for the public yet or for the hikers, but they let me stay there because I needed a place to stay. Tim and Amanda, I don't remember, Spring Creek Tavern or something. It was great, and I don't know if y'all remember, and I don't remember I said this in the last video, but Hot Springs was pretty devastated with a huge flood during Hurricane Helene. And they've all rebuilt without insurance, just the town coming together, rebuilding everything. And it's this beautiful, tiny little town, and everyone is so kind and so supportive. And I'll tell you how. Um, So I left the tavern this morning and I went to the Bluff Mountain Outfitters. Got new boots. I got Keen boots. They're a little wider, a little smaller. So I've been walking around in those and they seem to be doing a lot better. It's also going to get pretty cold, like 21, I think at night, but like during the day, it might be like in 30s and 40s. And so, I didn't have a base layer under my hiking pants, uniform pants. So I got a base layer, pants and shirt, merino wool. Actually, this is the shirt. Um, to have for hiking when it's cold so I can stay warmer and avoid like the hypothermia that keeps chasing me for no good reason. It's rude. Um, so I'm going to wear those I'm gonna I think today's Friday. I'm gonna hike out of here on Sunday. I'm gonna hike like 8 miles and then stay at a tent site, and then the next night is supposed to get super cold. um and I think I can hike like 8 miles and stay at a hostel, which will be great. I need to call them tomorrow and see if they have availability and then keep hiking. Irwin is, people say normally like a 5 day food carry hike. It looks like there's a climb. Sorry about the yawning. I'm so sorry. It looks like there's a climb up here out of Hot Springs, and then it's just kind of like not a ton of huge um, feet going up. Like I think there's a 5,000 foot hill, but most of them are like 3, 4, partly 5s. So I might be able to do 10 miles. I don't know. We'll find out. So I stopped at the Dollar General in town and got like some lunch stuff, some tuna fish things and whatever, and some snacks like fudge rounds, the Little Debbie things. Um, I still have my breakfasts and my dinners. I'm eating through those. Um, so I'm going to plan my meals tomorrow. But this is the cool thing about this little town. Well, one uncool thing first. I walked over to the Hot Springs Resort and I was like, hey, do you have any like availability to sit in hot springs? She said no, which is rude. They don't have any availability till Sunday and I'm leaving Sunday. So I walked back and there's this place called Artisun, like Artisun. And I went in there, it's like a coffee shop, boutique for like local artists to sell their stuff. And I asked the guy at the coffee shop, I said, hey, I'm looking for a massage because like my legs are sore. And I just thought, man, I really could use a massage, especially since there's no hot springs to sit in now. And the guy was like, well, the lady outside works at the Welcome Center. Talk to her. And I'd already gone to the pizza place, and there was a lady advertising on a board, and I had like called her and didn't hear back. And she seemed more like metaphysical ritual massage, and like, I don't need somebody to burn sage. I need somebody like dump an elbow on me and like WWE my body to whip it into shape. And she's like, well, there's this one girl. And I was like, I think that's the same as the pizza place. And a guy was talking to her, and he's like, my wife was just talking about massage. And we went over and talked to his wife, and she couldn't remember the name of the massage therapist. And he's like, you know what? Aaron at the tobacco place, he gets massages at the tobacco place. Like, he's got a table in the back. Go talk to him. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I spent the night at the tavern last night. The next 2 nights, I'm spending the night at Elmer's Sunnybank Inn. It's this old 1800s Victorian home filled with like antiques. It's like a museum. Elmer's 88 years old. He's a little demented. But there's another guy here, Daniel, who's kind of like handling things. He's been a through hiker. So he's here for hiker season. He said he might stay on a little bit, kind of keep an eye on things. But it's like this beautiful house. I've got this like old antique bed I'm staying in tonight and tomorrow. Private room, very affordable. So I stopped by the tobacco place, and it's like tobacco and beer and liquor. I don't know if it's liquor, beer and wine, and like cannabis drinks and whatever. I think they had pre-rolls and stuff. And so I go in there and I was like, hey, are you Aaron? And he's like, yeah. I said, okay, so like somebody told me you know massage people. He's like, yeah, let me help you out. So he called 3 different massage people who he's used and left them messages. And then I just wrote my name on a piece of paper and my number and just said massage or whatever. And I walked to Dollar General and got some like freezer bags to get my meals. I'm so sorry. I took my progesterone and I'm like, whoo, fuzzy brained, but I'm trying to get this video made. So I got stuff for my lunches, and I'm gonna try to like put breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a bag separately so I know exactly what to do and like sort through my food and be a little more organized, or try to. And so I got back to my room and I was just kind of going through stuff, and the phone rings, and it was 828 number, which is I think North Carolina. So I answer it, and it's Aaron, and he's like, hey, Amy said she could see you after 4:15. So if you want to be down here before 4:15. And I was like, absolutely. Thank you so, so much. I can pay you for the shuttle. He's like, it doesn't matter. And the tobacco place is like literally like 2 doors down. So I just had to walk down there. So I walked down there. And of course, because it's time to go, and he wrote a note that just said, hiker shuttle, be back in 15 minutes or something. But like 5 people pull up and they're all buying stuff. So I'm just sitting on a bench outside waiting. And he drives me past the house he grew up in. It's this old house on like 20 acres. And we're driving down a road. I have no idea where we're going. So I'm like in this stranger's car, driving to who knows where, to some random massage therapist place. But I'm like, I'm down for adventure. So we turn into like this dirt road, cow pasture, broken down trailers, a single wide trailer, rusted out. But then there's like this beautiful, like all windowed kind of studio place. This girl comes out, gives me this huge hug. She's like, thanks for coming. And she does like myofascial release, which I love. And in White House, Tennessee, I use a friend named Ray at Freedom Myofascial Release. And it's so helpful because like your muscles get tight and you can get a massage and they can relax, but then they get tight again. It's because the fascia that's around the muscle, if it's not released, it's going to keep doing the same thing. So you can get massages all day, but if you don't have myofascial release, you're just kind of like putting a band-aid on the problem. But myofascial release is a little bit slower of a process, but like so much more effective. So I lay down on the table. She pulls like my legs and she's like, your left leg is 1.5 inches shorter than your right leg. And I was like, maybe that's why my left hip is hurting so bad. So she worked on like my ribs and kind of like under my breasts. They're so sore right now. And then, like, she told me I had a huge knot in my left hip. So she's working on that. And it's also so sore right now. And did a bunch of stuff in the front. And originally it was like an hour and a half massage. It was over 2 hours that she worked on me because she's wanted me to be finished. And so then she flipped me over and was doing like sacral release. And like everything was just feeling so much more balanced. And I said, hey, can I come back tomorrow? And she's like, I would prefer that because I like to keep everything neutral, sleep on it. And then tomorrow we'll work on range of motion. And so tomorrow have another 0. I guess today was kind of a 0, but not really because I was like shopping for my lunch and going to Bluff Mountain and trying to spend money in this town that was so devastated 2 years ago and it's still rebuilding, like mostly rebuilt, but like everyone's still kind of in process. And so my goal is to spend as much money locally as I possibly can. But I don't have a ton of cash. I don't have my PIN number for my credit card yet to go to the ATM. And I'm staying at Elmer Sunnybank Inn, like I said, and they're cash only. So I have enough cash to pay for these 2 nights. I have a little bit left over, but I didn't have cash for massage. She's like, I know you're good for it. Like, it's fine. And then later she's like, Dollar General has gift cards and I don't have a credit card, so I can buy stuff online if you just get one of those. And I was like, cool. So we finish and she texts Aaron before we finish to tell him like we're almost done. He said he'd be there in a couple minutes. And so Aaron shows up, the tobacco guy, like, and when he's showing up, like he's closing his business, right? So he closed his business twice today for me. And I said, I can pay you. He's like, I don't care if I get paid. I just want the hikers to get taken care of. And I think his place is called Tobacco Road. So if you are like a drinker or a smoker, he does also have like non-alcoholic stuff and like root beers and Cokes and Red Bulls and Pop-Tarts and snacks and stuff, a little bit of ice cream. So stop by there if you're around Hot Springs. So anyway, Amy, the massage therapist, was like, I said, what time should I come back? She's like 10. And I looked at Aaron and said, how's that? He's like, it's perfect. So I'm going to stop by the tobacco place tomorrow around like 9:30, 9:45, so he can drive me over there. And then he'll drive me back again. Like, so kind. So I got him a gift card as well because I don't have cash. And he didn't have Venmo. But here's this really cool thing. So there's this diner that's kind of right across the street from the Elmer Sunnybank Inn. I think it's called the Smoky Mountain Diner. So I went there this morning for breakfast because everybody said, this is the breakfast place. You got to go there for breakfast. So I go. And I'm standing there like waiting around. Nobody's coming to get me. It says like, wait to be seated. So I'm waiting. And then these 3 people roll up. And it was like a married couple and then another lady. And so I complimented this one lady's hair. It's perfectly curled. It's beautiful. They're kind of older. And we talk for a minute. And then the lady's like, are you needing a table? I was like, yeah, one for me. And I think there are 3. So she sits me down at this one table for one. And then those people came and they said, hey, you can sit with us for breakfast if you want. And I was like, this is perfect. I'll buy their breakfast. Like, it's awesome. Turns out they're both first, like, she was a rescue squad person for years. He was a firefighter and then joined the rescue squad when they got married. And they were retired, but they came out of retirement for the flood. And so she was feeding all the first responders and he was kind of like helping set up their base and their communications and stuff. And then this other lady was from France originally, but she ended up where they live, which was an hour and a half from here. I think it's called Burnsville. And they're on their way to Dollywood. So we had this beautiful breakfast, got to talk a lot. And they gave me their number and he said, hey, we live at like Spivey Gap or this North Carolina, whatever the number was. He's like, you're going to be out there for a couple of cold nights. He's like, listen, call me. I'll come get you and you can have a warm night at our house. And I thought, man, yes, please. Like, what a beautiful couple. I would love to stay at your house and like maybe I can take them out for dinner or something. So, like, just really nice. We had a beautiful breakfast, beautiful conversation. It was lovely. And, like, I got a place to stay about two-thirds of the way to Irwin. Um, just thought, man, this is great. Like, what a great town. Even though they're like not even from here, they're just coming stopping by for breakfast. Um, so I got like a beautiful breakfast, beautiful conversation, an amazing massage. Met like half the town. It's awesome. And yeah, this place where I'm staying, like the ceilings are so high and all the furniture's antique and there's like books everywhere and furniture everywhere and um, just like a million doors, a million bathrooms. Like it's just beautiful. Elmer Sunnybank Inn. So I told my husband, I was like, when I'm done the trail, we need to come back here and we need to stay at all these places and we need to spend money here so that they can keep rebuilding Hot Springs, North Carolina. So like I said, tomorrow is Saturday. I saw on the board like Pooch and Echo are staying here tomorrow, and that guy Monarch, if you remember, like his wife died in January. He's coming, and Daniel, who's helping run things, said Monarch was here yesterday, but he's coming back. So I don't know if he like slack packed or did something. Um, so there's like people I know that maybe we can go to dinner or something. Um, this part of the hike, which isn't the hiking part, is the part that I really have been enjoying, like the social part, getting to know people, um, learning about this town, learning about where I am, um, relational aspects of things has been really good. Um, I'm saying a lot in this video. I think it's because I'm so tired. But for a second day in Hot Springs, like this has been great. And then Domino, it was so funny. I saw him at the outfitter. He's like, I can't shake you, Plain Jane. What's going on? And he was talking about his wife was coming, which he told me at the shelter. Like his wife was coming. They got a cabin at the Hot Springs. And I thought, that's so cute. So he's spending 2 nights at the Hot Springs Resort with his wife. He's like, I want you to meet my wife. And he helped me, like I was getting boots and stuff. So he sat there while I was talking to the guy and we just kind of all hung out while I'm trying on a million pairs of boots. Um, and then I went back outside. I'm like, where's your wife? Because she's supposed to have been there in like 20 minutes. So they packed up my boots and like I had this microphone, but I'm not using it and it's like 7 ounces. So I'm sending it home. So I packed that up, but I go to the post office and they're on lunch because it's like one person in the post office. So I go to Elmer's, I check in, get my room, take a tour of the place, walk back to the post office. And I don't see Domino at the outfitter, so I'm assuming his wife came and they're like on their way. Um, but I'm trying not to take anything from the town. I'm trying to like give to the town. And so like my hair is purple and I haven't washed it since like before I left Springer. So like February 20th, let's say, was the last time I washed my hair. I normally only wash it every couple weeks anyway, but like a lot of these tubs and showers are old. And when I put soap in my hair, shampoo in my hair, it kind of like leaches the color a little bit. And I'm not wanting to stain anybody's showers or whatever. So I normally just like rinse it with water, like warm water to get all the salt and the sweat out of it. And then I brush it. So I don't know. I will see how long I can go without washing my hair, which people may think is gross, but like I remember doing it in college and it was like 7 weeks before it got like super greasy or whatever. And it's a lot drier now than it used to be. So I just keep like rinsing my hair, not washing it, and see what it does. Um, but anyway, so I had like rinsed it and I put it in a buff, like a bun and a buff, and then I was like laying back on a pillow. And I could feel the pillow getting wet, and I turned and looked, and there was like all these little purple spots of pink. I thought, man, I hope I didn't ruin this pillowcase and it can bleach out or whatever. But if it doesn't, So I stopped by the tavern again. Like I'd stopped there to drop off my key. And then I stopped again to just tell them, like, hey, if that pillowcase is not, if it's ruined, if it's stained or whatever, like, bill me, I'll buy you a new pillowcase. And like, don't even worry about it. I was like, no, I'm not trying to take from you. So, like, seriously. But then sorry for the shaky camera, but in the tavern, Domino was there. He's like, are you stalking me? I was like, I guess so. But his wife was there, so I got to meet her. I don't remember her name. I believe she's from Peru. Um, and so that was nice to meet her, and we talked for a minute. And then I went down to the hot springs where they said they didn't have anything. And then, like I said, the whole massage quest happened. So tomorrow I'm gonna get my massage, and then I'm gonna look at Far Out, the app that I use that has like all the shelters, tent sites, and water, and it kind of tells you like your mileage from here to the next thing, and just kind of look at it and plan out my hike to Irwin because it's like 60 something miles from here to there without much resupply. So I think if I just carry all my food and then just stay at, I think there's like two hostel sections, and then I can stay with the diner people. So I shouldn't have to be out like 7 nights in a row or whatever, which is nice. Um, and like no, Sunday should be nice. Monday's supposed to get super cold, and then it's cold like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday get warm again. So between like my base layers, and it's a little rainy, but I have rain gear. Between my base layers, the rain gear, and like my sleeping bag, I should stay fairly warm, like pretty warm, maybe too warm, um, in my tent. Because I was reading the comments on Far Out. It's like I said, it's this app, but you can look at elevation if you want, or like just a regular map where it kind of like shows you how the trail winds around or whatever. But it also shows you where the shelters are, but people can leave live comments. So it'll say like this water source is flowing, or this water source is dried up, or this, um, like last year there was some like this shelter has bears, watch out, whatever. Most of the bears right now are still in torpor. They don't really hibernate, but it's called torpor. It's kind of like a slowed down state. Um, there haven't been really any bear sightings. I know the bunch of people who came from the Smokies didn't see one bear while they were there, which people were saying was surprising. Um, but the next few shelters, the comments are talking about like the next shelter up. It was just like 10 miles from here. People are talking about this rat named George or Georgina that has a nest in the back, and somebody had moved the broom in the dustpan, but the rat moved them back during the night into the corner. I'm not looking to spend the night with a rat. And the privy at the bathroom, they were saying like it's to the floor level. I'm not looking for that either. So I'll probably stay in a bunch of tent sites, hopefully if they're like in a clearing, on the way to Irwin, and see how that goes. But like Hot Springs is a really small, really beautiful place. Um, I think it's like halfway between like Asheville and Knoxville, maybe. Um, I think it's like less than an hour to Knoxville, maybe an hour and a half to Asheville, but don't quote me on any of that. I'm just going with what people have told me. Because, like, the trail, it could take 20 minutes to drive from one place to the other. It could take 2 days to walk that because the trail isn't just like a straight line. It's here's this hill, you're going up the hill and then over and then down this hill and around and then ridge walking. So it's kind of like convoluted the way the trail is. Um, so you could just spend all this time walking up and around a hill where you could have just taken a forest road and gone straight and gotten there in like 2 miles instead of like 10 miles, right? So I have no idea where I am. I know it's Hot Springs, North Carolina, but I couldn't. If you gave me a map of North Carolina, I have no idea where Hot Springs is. like north, south, east, west, central. No clue. I could throw a dart at it. It would give me just as much information as my brain has. Um, so yeah, a beautiful, successful day. And I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling good about the boots because I did some downhill and I wasn't like swimming in them. Um, and I just went, I was in the kitchen. I had a cup of tea, talked with Daniel and a couple of the guests. And now I'm going to go to bed. And then tomorrow will be my third day in Hot Springs. Oh, I saw on the board that Pooch and Echo are be here tomorrow. I think I said that already, in Monarch. And so to catch up with everyone, that'll be a good time. And yeah, this part of the trail, the non-hiking part, I like. So I like something. I figured out something that I like. And I was talking to people about like, I skip the Smokies and I skip this whatever. I'm not here to be like this purist hiking the whole every mile and go back and double check that my steps, I stepped all 5 million steps. But I'm hiking to whatever needs to heal younger me. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I'm hiking for. And none of it feels like I need to hike every single step. It's like I just need to be out here doing this thing. And I'm out here doing this thing and like in the cold, in the hot, sweating, in the sun, outside, like all the things I don't like, I'm doing and I'm slogging through it. And so I'm curious, like, at what point along this way is that gonna heal? Like whatever needs to heal. And I don't even know what it is. And maybe tomorrow, I think that's what I'll do. So stay tuned. Um, I'm going to talk about my first promise tomorrow because I'll be well rested and massaged, and there won't be much more update other than like, hey, I spent more money in Hot Springs and went to the diner again, and it was awesome. And like the pizza place is called Vinyl Pie or Vinyl something. It was really good pizza. Um, and so like I can't really talk more about the businesses. I'm going to try to get more pictures of Hot Springs tomorrow just so you can see more of the town. But I'll talk about my first promise to myself. And maybe a little bit about like I know I talked about it in the first video about like the second promise to myself, like why am I out here when I'm not a hiker and all that. And I think I've revisited it a couple of times, but like the full story. And it kind of goes along with the first promise a little bit, just with trauma and stuff. So, yeah, so look for that as the next video. And it's been a really great day. Surprisingly, I mean, not that I was scared of this town or thinking like whatever, but I didn't think it would be like as beautiful of humanity, like starting with breakfast and complete strangers that became like acquaintances. Um, and I was trying to pay for their meal, and I was sitting next to this lady from France, and she was on the outside of the booth, and I was on the inside of the booth, and you had to pay up front. And so I was trying to grab for the bill, and she's like, "No, I've got it." And I was really trying to treat them because they were so kind to invite me to their table. But she like grabbed it and got out and went up to the front, and there was no way that I could just hand the lady my card because she's like, you have to pay up front. And we were all laughing about it, but I honestly wanted to buy them breakfast and bless them. And instead they blessed me greatly, like not only with company, but like buying my chicken and waffles. So it was so kind. But so yeah, it's been like maybe the best day ever since I started. Yeah, like maybe so. Like I enjoyed it. And it's nice to have a day of enjoyment after like trying to die of hypothermia again and just like really hard hikes up hills and I know I'm going to keep having hard hikes up hills. I don't know why that's surprising, but it's hard. So it's kind of like an easy, beautiful day, and I loved it. So I'm going to go to bed and like have a perfect sleep to this perfect day.